a guy asks me on a coffee date, I'll give him one of 3 responses. For a blunt response, I'll tell him I already own a coffee machine. For a straight response, I'll tell him I only like to go coffee by myself or with my friends. And for a cheeky response, wouldn't you want our first date to be memorable?
Nope.
So my dad is really good at reading people, and he's taught me some things that may or may not be true, but most of the time it is. According to my dad, if you have a small mouth, that means you complain a lot. So he's always like, be careful of guys who look like they have really small mouths because you don't want to be around a complainer. And my dad told me that if there's not a lot of space between your eyebrows, that means you are really frugal and you're really cheap. Like you won't spend a lot of money. And as a general thing, my dad always tells me to be careful of guys who take care of their appearance because maybe they'll be looking at the mirror more than looking at you. Cheers.
Shut up.
3 things I wish I knew in my early 20s before I started dating. Never date a man who watched his mother struggle. You are next. That man is going to offer you the bare minimum. And a lot of those men watch their fathers not be around or only provide financially. But it is 2022, babe. I don't have to be with a man to make sure my finances are straight. I don't have any obligation to settle. No offense to some of y'all's moms, but they didn't come from that. Back when they got married, a lot of them got married because they had to. I ain't gotta do shit. And I am not about to cater to you just because your mama did. You 36. Number 2, y'all gotta stop not wearing stuff because your boyfriend doesn't like it. A secure man, a confident man, is not worried about what his girlfriend is wearing. Now, common sense says to dress like you have some damn morals, but me wearing a certain pair of jeans, if that triggers you, babe, you better put your seatbelt on because it's gonna be a wild ride.
Don't forget to subscribe.
I dated an FBI agent for 6 months. Or did I? Reasons why I think my ex-boyfriend lied to me about being an FBI agent. Let's go. First date. We met on Hinge, okay? Complete strangers. Within the first 5 minutes, he tells me he's an FBI agent. It really is the perfect alibi. If I had $1 for every time I heard, I can't answer that, I would literally say, how was your day today? And he'd be like, you know you can't ask me about my work. And I wouldn't question it, because I'm like, yeah, you can't ask Agent Cody Banks about his day. It's a secret! No social media, not even a LinkedIn profile, besties. No friends. This was my favorite. He'd say, I really want you to meet them, but they're on a special mission right now, so they're not here. Number 3, no real information about him. He told me he grew up on a ranch in Colorado, so I would call him my cowboy. About halfway through our relationship, he tells me he needs to go to Washington, D.C. to go to the FBI Academy and do training. He leaves for training. It's a 6-month course. He says, I'll go for 3 months, then I will move there and be with him for the last 3 months of his course. Well, guess what? We actually broke up.
I think the best piece of advice my dad gave me was when I was struggling as to whether I should stay in a relationship or not. He said, Shivani, if you weren't enjoying your job, would you tell me that you're not going to leave because there's no other jobs in the world? Or would you just stay in that job and be miserable forever? And I was like, well, obviously I would leave the job. There's millions of jobs in the world. And he was like, yeah, but what if you're not qualified? I was like, well, there'll be something I'm qualified for.
Yep.
He was like, exactly. So when you're not happy in a relationship, I say this all the time, and I think it's because my parents have been really positive with that reinforcement from a young age. There are millions of people in the world. Why on earth do you think you're not going to find someone?
Yeah.
It's bizarre to me. By the way, I'm not saying it's easy when you
Yeah.
have to really leave a relationship. It's very difficult. You have a lot of emotional attachment. You have a lot of social attachment. Sometimes your friends are really similar. Some people are living together. It's hard. But at the end of the day, you have one life.
Yeah.
And when you think about the fact that you just have one life and that's it, and then you're just going to die after, you're never going to get the chance to feel that love or that affection or that feeling again. Why would you waste it on someone?
It's mad.